Big time combos about issues facing singles today. It's the TBD podcast. All right, so welcome back to a new episode of TBD To Be Determined podcast. I'm Brian. This is Isaiah and Shannon right over there. Always breaking down issues, situations, topics that affect singles, specifically Christian singles. Guys, before we get into another good show today, reading an article before we actually started the show.
Okay.
And I told you the title, but let me say it again for everybody who wasn't in on that, mainly everybody that's listening right now. It says men should always pay on first dates as a way to check if the other person is entitled, divorce lawyer says. And I will get to the main point of the article because it's pretty long, but he says, let's say at the end of the date, you pull out your wallet and you offer to pay, and your date just sits there expecting you to pay as if it's the obvious course of action. You just learned that the person in front of you is entitled and frankly has the audacity to expect a near stranger to pay for them. Just imagine how someone like that would treat their significant other. This man spitting.
That's so
this
unfair.
Man spitting.
That's so
you hear
unfair.
me? He preaching out here. What's his name? Bishop what? Bishop.
Really?
I can't even find his name right now. I'm gonna find his name by the time I get y'all opinion. So whoever wants to take that first, and then the other person spar back.
I'm old school, so I want to pay for all the dates until we in a relationship, and then we head down like marriage situation. Then maybe she want to chip in or treat me well every now and then. But in date and get to know somebody, I want to pay every date. But if a woman suggests
you do or don't,
I do.
Okay. I just want to make sure you're stressing that.
Now we might eat church's chicken a few times.
No, don't do that.
But
that ain't a date.
Yeah.
Why you ain't give me no knowing nod when he said church's chicken? You gave me a knowing nod when he said he want to pay for every date. The first time and the second time. Now he said church's chicken. Now you stone faced it. You stone faced it.
Church's chicken is real.
So,
crazy.
but if a woman suggests like, hey, let me, like first date, I got it. That's kind of giving me a cue that she's not really that interested. That that she want to cut her losses. That's the vibe I get when a woman say, "Hey, insist on let me paying first date."
Well, I would say
no, not first date. Not. You said all dates.
I said I want to pay for all date, but on the first date, if a woman say, "I got this," now I'm like, "Oh, you're not really interested. You're trying to cut your losses. No harm, no foul," kind of vibe. So that's what I get.
No, and women do use that as a device. I have used that as a device when somebody's just like, "Oh, I got this." I'm just like, No, you do not. But that's different. Going Dutch is different from you paying. And I think that it's society. I think it's a cultural thing where women, when a man asks you out, that women just believe that, okay, well, he asked me out on a date. He's going to pay for the first date. I mean, it's cultural. And by the way, I just saw a clip of Shaq talking about how Shaquille O'Neal talking about how he
I'm like, you calling him by his first name now?
Because
Shannon?
I know him. Because there was some Middle Eastern princess who had proposed to him, and he said that he wasn't interested in her because they went out to fancy restaurant. Of course they did. It was not Church's Chicken, by the way. And he said that she was just like, "Oh, your money's no good here." And he said that he found that unattractive, that she would offer to pay for the first date. And so it was like, no.
One of the big differences between men and women is this. When we hear about Shaq, we like, because Shaq's an NBA player. Now, if we had switched that around and we talking about Rihanna, a lot of women, I think, identify with Rihanna like, well, Rihanna can do it, why can't I? Whereas men are like, that's Shaq. Oh, okay, he may take offense to that.
So if
I make 20,000, if I make 30, we live in reality. And other people don't live in reality. Both of those statements are true. Yours is just a lot more educational because you going to your high Ivy League like school right now. So okay.
Shannon, I want to know if a guy says, "Let's go Dutch" on the first date. How did that make you feel?
Oh, I'll be like, "Oh, we going Dutch," and it will be treated as such, just like that. Yes.
Yeah. How much worse as the Honorable Bishop Justin Lee out of Toronto will she treat you as the significant other? If she treating you like that right now,
But that's unfair, though. I think that you actually have to have some kind of understanding.
Listen, the level of equality it's peppered with hypocrisy. That thing got unequal real quick, didn't it? It got cultural real quick. It got traditional real quick. I'm not mad at you either way, right? I like this right here. I'm not saying I don't pay for first dates. I'm just saying I think it's an interesting point. That's not wrong.
But it's other cues I'll be looking for entitlement. Not the first date situation, but I'll be looking for other cues and red flags for entitlement.
His point was not that she should have to pay for the first date, but if she just sit there on her phone looking at you,
act like she gotta
act on other stuff. Now all of a sudden, now this is above you.
And
This
he's
is above
a divorce lawyer. He's jaded.
But
He's a divorce lawyer.
I would take more offense for the proverbial like, oh, let me go for my purse when you really don't mean it. That's disingenuous to me.
But
that's
you don't
a
know
red
that.
flag.
But now you don't know that.
I might have to see it out.
But to your point, we have a friend who got taken in twice by the same person who didn't go for the wallet. And I have heard you say that person, I won't name any names, is entitled.
Let's start with
No.
What it rhyme with?
She put up an L, so when you see
Doggone it!
when you see
Doggone
that.
it!
I mean,
But
Okay, see now you gotta remember that because I can't have your back because he ain't out me like that. But you gotta remember that now.
she won't listen to this podcast anyway. I pray
now
not.
see,
Bro,
No, she came. She
I
came
mean,
at me once
Because
so-
she live in Mandarin. I mean the South Side. I mean
I
over there
know.
like, come on, man.
But okay, but the thing, she invited herself to the date and then made the man pay. She was like, "Oh, we should get together and you tell me about your trip." And then on the trip, he's like, "Okay,
I ain't never heard that story before.
yes."
Oh man.
My-
See, so don't get mad at me. I haven't even heard the story before.
So we have a friend that
I
went
know
out
who
of
you are,
town.
though.
He went out of town
Listen
for a
to this
couple
guy.
weeks, came back.
Doggone it.
The girl said, "Oh, I'd love to hear more about this trip.
Uh-huh.
Let's get together." They go out to dinner.
At a park. Free.
No,
What's
they,
a monument? What a park? Memorial Park? Whatever that is. By the water.
they went out to dinner.
Uh-huh.
Then at the end of the meal, she was like, "Okay,
and she did not pretend
not
like she was going for her wallet
like,
either.
mm-hmm."
And you said she was entitled. But
I say a lot
in
of
all
things.
reality, I mean, based on what you said before, she did the right thing.
But
Well-
based off of what you said, since she was the one that's like, let's go. I want to hear more about it. She should have been the one who paid.
I'm talking about what Isaiah said.
Okay,
my
bad.
She was trying to get a free meal. That's all. She was trying to get a entree. She wasn't trying to hear my friend's stories.
That would disgust me to no end.
But
that
didn't
would
that happen
disgust me to no
twice?
end.
That
It
happened 2
happened.
times.
She bamboozled my friend twice.
The second time, it would have been like, let's
It's
go
on
for a
him.
walk.
Second time is on him.
Well, yeah.
I'm only disgusted by the first time. That's
Yeah.
it. The second time, kudos to her for being able to hustle that again.
Mm.
Well,
But I am disgusted.
to my friends, to my friend, it ain't what the old rapper said. It's not pimping if you got it. He probably got it like that. Take out a couple of entitled women. It won't hurt his pockets. That's not my story. That's not my testimony.
What you paying for? A conversation? Her conversation?
Yeah.
No. Nah. Okay, so all right, so that's almost
so
half the
much to say about
podcast.
that.
But yeah, we'll do a later episode about that. But let's get into actually today's show. We want to talk about Christians and politics. So, first thing that I want to get you guys' idea on is, can you be unequally yoked in politics with a person that you're in a relationship with?
What you say, Shannon?
I think there's so many different levels to that. I mean, what do you mean by unequally yoked? Like,
Because you look like somebody that a Republican would like. You know what I mean?
everybody likes, I mean, all different persuasions. So that's not saying everybody likes me. I'm single.
That's what she
Call
said.
me. But no, I don't know. I have to think about that a little bit more.
Got a
Okay.
GOP vibe. That's a GOP sweater, right? I mean,
What
coat.
about you? Look at you.
Thank you.
We're not gonna talk about what you like.
That's what I'm. Thank you, because I was
I
about
mean,
to say,
like-
listen, this is what you do to counterpunch when he say that.
Yeah.
This is what you say.
I mean,
I may look like someone a GOP like you look like you like every GOP
right,
in the book.
exactly.
That's what you say next time.
Right.
I'm sorry. Okay, these two.
Now they double teaming me, but let me see. well, the
You're
way
trying to be undercover too. That's the part. That's the part right there.
I'm apolitical. I'm apolitical. The Lord. Why are you looking hard now?
My voting card says no party affiliation.
But what
How about that?
But who y'all voted for though?
Oh, none of your business.
Okay.
We still
Because they
black,
affiliated with somebody.
but no.
They affiliated with somebody.
So for a woman that I'm interested that's investing in any political party, overly invested, I'm not really attracted to that because I'm called to everybody. I mean, when God put in my heart that my ministry is for all people, that I have to love everybody, and my personality type, I'm all or nothing. So for me politically, I have to be de-invested. So if a person wanna on either side of the spectrum, she's really heavily invested, that's a kind of a turn off because I can't keep up with that same energy.
So that is unequally yoked in that respect then.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
Mhm.
but either side, if you
Oh yeah.
for me, if you got enough energy to post on about anything political, I'm like, you better be fine because it's a sliding scale. If you really what I'm attracted to, I'm like, I don't care if you was to the was at the White House flipping over tables. I'm like, man, but she fine though. Or I don't.
She fine. She mine.
Oh yeah. Oh, they got you on camera flipping over police cars. I'm like, man.
Strong.
She's strong
burning
and
down
fine.
businesses, huh?
Yeah. Burning
Right.
down all the businesses. I'm like,
But she looks like a top-notch model.
Molotov
That's-
cocktails.
holla at your boy.
And what do you call it? In the makeup. I
Yeah.
can't think of the M makeup thing. Mac.
Yeah.
Mac and
makeup.
Molotov
Yeah.
cocktails.
You know, right? Oh, look at
Like,
that! I
if
like
I'm
the
attracted to
alliteration
you, I
there.
got grace for you. If I'm attracted to you, I got grace for you.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel
Unending.
like a lot of men are like that though, but then complain about the outcome because it's not about character. Because if you see her throwing that Molotov cocktail, you're just like, "Ooh, you are so." I mean, that's on you.
I married a
When she-
revolutionary.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Until 6 months later, and she does something crazy like cheat on you, expect you to go to work and buy her all these things while she doesn't clean up the house, take care of kids, anything like that.
I'm like, okay, this is how I feel. It's good when you flipping over their car, but don't come flipping over my car.
But that's the kind of person she is. If she flipped over their car, best believe at some juncture she's gonna flip yours over too.
Go storm the White House, but don't come storm my house. Ooh, that's a word. But that's how I feel. I mean, be honest with you, that's how I feel.
But you know, I think that Christians a lot of times make, and that's one of the articles which I won't bring up because apparently it was too long. But I think that we're guilty of making politics a god. So politics, we start to, get involved with idolatry and putting politics above our belief system. And I feel like that's dangerous.
Now, I don't believe with the political, how you say that, politicalization?
Oh, okay. I don't know if that's a word, but yeah.
Yeah, politicalization of human rights, social justice. I believe those should be separate from how we pay taxes or who fills the potholes. I believe those are like core issues. So
I agree.
So I'm like, how are you with the issues, not the taglines, but how are you with the issues? How do you treat people? But I think politics kind of put a layer or disassociation over real matters, human matters.
I agree with that. This is the article. I mean, because it's just perfect, exactly what you were saying. The article is from the Gospel Coalition.
Just so that you know, watch the interest, look at the energy. I just want to let you, read the room because he's about to.
He already told me I got 10 seconds. But I have to tell you, I have to tell you where it's from. It's from the Gospel Coalition, September 2nd, 2020 by Eugene Park. And he entitled the article, "Are Christians More Confident in Politics Than in Christ?" And I'll say, why, yes, they are, as a matter of fact.
Is that the article? You reading it?
No, I'm just saying that the article, that's what the article said.
Give us the article. Don't give me your commentation on the article.
Well, it was interesting because one of the things that he said was, in other words, politics can often become an idolatrous substitute religion with fundamentalist zeal, as David French, some guy, points out. But then he also said something else that was really good. Let me see if I can find it. It was in the section false certainty. As each camp believes its viewpoint is foolproof, perceptions of and accusations toward the quote unquote other side become increasingly brazen. And he goes on to say what you were saying, Isaiah. Basically, he was saying for some on the right, any pastor who speaks about social justice is immediately labeled a Marxist. And then for some on the left, the slightest offense of President Trump or even just holding a baby of a different ethnicity exposes your white supremacy. And so I think that the church, unfortunately, is now known for that. When all of this stuff started happening, gosh, it was like 2019, 2020, and the church got so heavily involved in politics, it was embarrassing. I don't know. Did you guys feel that way at all?
I felt that the church has been deceived.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe politics is just a branch of this world.
Mm-hmm.
So for us to get really invested in it and choose a side of a coin that is already part of the world's infrastructure, we're falling into a lie and we've been deceived. Because when we do that, we negate the true issues, the true matters. And as Christians, we fight not against flesh and blood, but of principalities. Why are we not praying for the lost instead of trying to convert them to a political party?
Right.
Idolatry.
I agree. And it's funny because you were asking like, oh, being unequally yoked. I think that I do believe you can come from different political perspectives and be equally yoked. However, I think, that should not be the most important thing. I think we need to know the ethos, like the philosophy of somebody as a believer first before we start talking about political parties, because then you understand, for me, like how their beliefs or their faith beliefs actually align with what they do politically. That's just me personally.
My biggest fear is, how would somebody accept me not being apolitical?
Is that a fear for you, really?
Yes.
Really?
That is a fear because
because of what you like, and they typically like a certain thing.
Yeah, I like women that love the Lord. Yes. And they, I love women. I love Christian women.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but anyway, my biggest fear, like, hey, I'm apolitical. They might think I'm not involved.
Mm-hmm.
They might think I'm not aware or not involved over the issues at hand.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, I want to be called to all people, no matter what they believe. I want to be able to minister, befriend anybody.
Agree.
And everybody.
Mm-hmm. So, what about you, Brian?
As far as, I don't think there's an issue with getting involved in politics, as long as you prioritize God over it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, everything you guys are saying, I'm sure is true. I don't know how plausible it is, how much of a reality it is to not be involved in some capacity with it. Just, you're on the earth. I guess technically, if you just didn't want to be involved in any capacity, you could, but you can affect some change. Some, I don't know how much you really can, but you can affect some by being involved, whether it be on a local or, if you're one of those guys or one of those people that move up in the state or national government type deal. So, yeah, but as long as you have the right prioritization, then I don't see an issue with getting involved with it. But I understand why it's hard to do, and, the issues that you guys are bringing up. Yeah, totally get it. Yeah. Totally get it. So I'm guessing that this means that politics for you guys doesn't weigh heavily on the relationship. Or are you guys saying maybe it does, but it just shouldn't?
It does for me. If somebody's very politically invested.
Yeah, I'm just like, just don't annoy me. That's all. I'm like, there are some things I feel like if you're a believer, there's just some things I'm like that. I don't know about that. And it's not the things that Christians usually fight over either. There are some things I'm just like, I feel like that's not the Lord. But just don't get on my nerves, because everybody has a different perspective. I'm sorry I jumped over you.
No, what you were saying is what you said. Yeah. But yes, I feel like it's not it don't make it an issue. Like, but some things I don't make it an issue. But my biggest fear that the person will be deceived, believing like their political views can bring on change. And so therefore, when you have that say, hey, my political views can bring on change, then they're very radical about it. But if you take it as what it is, or you're in the world, not of the world, and I'm like, we can vibe, we can chill.
Yeah.
Just don't invite me to any rallies,
right?
or don't make me have to like your post about your political views. We good.
If you're posting, I'm probably just gonna be like, don't really. I mean, because I can disagree with you, but the problem is, I personally, what I feel like, and this is how I've always felt, that believers are always looking for a political messiah. I really believe that, instead of us looking towards the Lord. Like, you know what you believe, you know why you believe it. I do believe that we should be voting. That's part of our responsibility.
Isaiah said, do not be of the world. Do not be involved with government, politics in any capacity, and that's a part of it. Stay out of it.
I didn't say that. I said
stay out of it.
What I said was,
stay out of it.
Do what grace allows.
Nah, you ain't say that.
That's what I meant to say.
Run back the tape. If you on YouTube or something, run it back to about 10 minutes ago.
The grace that God has put on me will not allow me to be involved in political, because I was very militant back in my youth, watching Spike Lee movies, Do the Right Thing, Malcolm X, very political.
Sorry, remember that song?
No, I
don't.
Shut
up.
As a matter of fact, I do not remember that. You would have to sing more of that.
Yes.
Whatever.
But yes, I was in when I converted my life, when I rededicated my life to Christ, he said that part of me has to die.
Now, why you gotta drag Spike name through the mud like that?
No, I love Spike Lee.
Now, Spike Lee, you were like, before I knew the Lord and I was militant,
No,
and I hated people, I was listening to Spike Lee. Now, I gotta let that part. The Spike ain't do nothing but go to Knicks games.
No, my militancy, I had to let go. I was very pro-African American, very fight the powers that be.
Fight the power.
Okay, this is not a duet. But in knowing Christ, I had to lay that aside in order to do what God has me to do. So I say, do what your grace allows you to do.
Well, my final word is this.
There you go.
I feel like I do not think that being with somebody who has a different standpoint from me politically is the same as being unequally yoked. However, I do believe that somebody who holds politicism above the Bible, like, for me, that's an unequally yoked situation.
Brian, if someone wanted to say, join the conversation, how would they do so?
Okay, you like, forget your final word.
I was like, what is your final word?
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, so
you're doing somebody else's job.
No, so
you're gonna stay in your lane. You had a final word.
I gave my final word before. I got to say final word to make it a final word.
Yeah, you kind of
My final word is, I'll holler at anybody.
If you find it, no.
Yeah, you find
I like
if
it.
I'm a try.
Mac and Molotov cocktail.
Hey, man, let's do it.
Let's do it. I'm down. That's my final word. Let's do what God allows.
If you from that Eastern Bloc, you from one of them war-torn countries.
Man, please, I got a place for you.
You know what I mean? Nah, I mean.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean.
Final word. Let's do what God allows, not what we want.
Flipping over tables in the White House and your house.
No, I ain't.
The house of your heart.
Ooh, tear it up.
All right, so if you want to get involved with the conversation, we have a phone number that you can leave a message. It's 904-513-8597, 904-513-8597. And then we also have a Gmail, which I don't know if you can make it out right here, but if you can, that's great eyesight. That's like, 20, 40 eyesight. It's tbdjax@gmail.com. Leave a comment, leave a topic. Tell Shannon and Isaiah how much you enjoy their conversation and their verbal sparring, or not. You can not do any of those things, right? You just listen and make sure that you're liking and subscribing. I don't know what this is posted on yet, but I'm sure there's a like. I'm sure there's a share option of some sorts. and probably a subscribe or follow or something like that. So you can do all that stuff too. So that's another great podcast, guys. You know?
And one more thing. And if you want to shoot your shot at my girl, Shannon, do it. She loves that.
Just don't be a stalker.
I can tell you where she live at. Holla.
Well, y'all about to give all the information of the one friend.
I know. You
Mine
know
well.
what?
Mine well. CIA, FBI, JSO, right here. Huh?
He has no filter.
He's like, what's the award money? Okay, reward money. Award. Anyway, all right. So that's it for today's episode.
You know who else did that? Judas. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
This has been To Be Determined podcast. Until next week.
All right.